Hey, how's it going, you guys? The promised day has arrived. My next series I'm going to be doing from episode 1. I said it a while ago. It's Yu Yu Hakusho, which is also written by Yoshihiro Togashi, the same author as Hunter x Hunter. He did this first, but yeah, most people know Yu Yu Hakusho, and I have read the manga like a long time ago, but I don't really remember everything. I know some bits and pieces here and there, but it's semi-blind, kind of. I know stuff, but for the most part, the story, I don't really know it that well, so, you know. And I never even finished reading the manga, so yeah, I'm going to be reviewing it from episode 1, double reviews as usual, and this is the first episode. Yu Yu Hakusho is probably one of the only series where you can say the main character dies and it's not a spoiler. Yeah, it opens up with the main character dead, which is pretty, it's a pretty, as soon as you see that the main character died, you're automatically interested, so I think that's a good hook, but, he ends up meeting Botan, and she basically is like the Grim Reaper, but like a nice, happy, sweet version, and we get the backstory, too. It's basically, he's a punk, he's, you know, never goes to school, but sometimes he does. There's a Keiko, I believe her name was, that's, you know, kind of just always on his ass about everything, and he doesn't really listen to her. You got Kuwabara, who is, can't wait to see, because he's voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, so, you know. But, yeah, and he rocks the original fucking Japanese pompadour, but, I don't know if he was the first character to have one, but I know he's one of the earlier ones, and he's probably the one that all the others are based off of. But yeah, he likes picking fights with Yusuke, and he always gets his ass kicked. You know, the teachers are fucked up, man. When you get to, like, his funeral and shit, well, not really like his funeral, but when they're at his house and everything, oh, the teachers are scum. But anyways, yeah, he ends up leaving school, meets a boy on the fucking street, playing with a ball, tells him not to do that, makes faces, you know, whatever, being a kind of a nice guy, even though he's a hard ass, and he also got in this fight with Kuwabara and beat his ass. What ends up happening, though, is the boy doesn't listen. He plays in the street with the ball, almost gets hit by a car, and Yusuke jumps in, saves him, dies, and he's like, fuck, I'm dead. Then he meets Botan, and she basically explains how you get a second chance because you weren't supposed to die. You know, we didn't expect you, of all people, to do this, so it's, like, rare as fuck, and he's like, okay, so what, the kid was supposed to die? And she's like, well, no, the kid would have survived no matter what. In fact, you interfering made it a little bit worse. Which is hilarious in a very dark way. So he's pissed off. And what ends up happening is he decides to stay dead, but he sees the funeral, and it's a very well done scene. Even though it's an early Funimation dub, because I'm watching the English version, and Funimation, they're a fantastic dubbing company, but they didn't start off amazing. Their Dragon Ball Z dub is pretty bad, and Dragon Ball isn't a ton better, but Yu Yu Hakusho, I think, is where they really started to do a much better job dubbing. And the extras in this dub they're iffy, but the main characters all sound good, and even though the dub isn't spectacular, they do get a lot of emotion out of that scene where Kuwabara comes in angry at him that he can't fight him anymore. It's a really well done scene. You know, the kid showing up and not really knowing that he's dead. You know, he just sees how much everyone misses him, and he decides that he wants to come back to life. And now he's going to go do some ordeal in the spirit world to come back to life. So overall, I thought this first episode was good. It definitely has a very intriguing hook as far as the main character being dead. I like how they handled the emotion with the funeral, and Yusuke so far is a likable character. Kuwabara's, you know, somewhat likable. We don't see much of him, but I do know bits and pieces about him later and everything, so, you know, I already kind of like him just because of that, but yeah, overall, though, it was a very enjoyable episode, so I'll give it, animation was fine. I mean, you know, it's the 90s, so you can't be too hard on the animation, but, you know, it was good. There were some good shots where they'd actually animate the background and, like, zoom out of the house and everything, and that was good, so overall, I'll give it, like, a 7.5 out of 10. It was a good episode. It had a really good hook, but it was nothing that really grabs you, really just, you know, it was a good episode, though. It was, definitely, yeah, I'd go like a 7.8 actually. Above good, not quite like good plus or whatever, you know, you want to call it. It was above average for sure, is what I'm trying to say. You know, it was above good. There's definitely, you know, something, because you get that emotional moment so quickly. Like, you don't know these characters that long, but yet you got Kuwabara coming in there, and you see everyone crying, and it's just like, it already has a sense of impact that early on. And maybe it's because I've already seen the characters a little bit and I know about the series, but I don't know. That has to count for something, right? So, yeah, I'll give it like a 7.8. And, yeah, now we'll talk about the second episode. Okay, you guys, so episode 2 of Yu Yu Hakusho. This was an okay episode. Essentially, it's him going to the spirit world. We meet, I believe it was Koenma. And I already knew about the baby dude, but it is a funny reveal that, you think it's going to be this big badass dude, and then it's actually his son, and he's like this little baby, and Yusuke's laughing, and it's a funny scene. But anyways, he gives him an egg, and depending on if he's good or bad, the egg will either turn into a bad monster or a good thing that'll help him come back to life. But they can't cremate his body, so he's like, what the fuck? He's like, what the fuck, they can't cremate me. So he tries to talk to Keiko in her dreams, which is okay, I guess. It's a little cheesy, but that scene was alright. Then he decides that, okay, there needs to be a better way to do this, so he ends up taking over Kuwabara's body, which was great. Kuwabara's, like, spiritually aware, he sees dead people and shit. Yeah, so he gets possessed by Yusuke. That was a funny scene where he said it was like a low-level ghost of, like, a raccoon. That was really funny, but, yeah, he takes over and he goes to Keiko's parents like a dumbass. He tries to call himself Yusuke, which is a seriously stupid thing to do, but he is Yusuke's not the smartest character. He's pretty stupid himself, so I mean, it's okay. He sees Keiko's friends, and that's where he ends up finding her, but he gets in all these fights with these dudes, and he's giving Kuwabara a good name, which was funny. Just the way these dudes would just show up, like, oh, hey, we gotta beat the shit out of you, Kuwabara, and Yusuke's like, the fuck? Does this guy pick a fight with everybody? He probably does, but, it was definitely funny. We get him finally meeting up with her, and she knew it was him because of, like, movements, and she's like, crying, like, dude, stalker, like, it was really cheesy, and I understand that she probably likes him, and it's like a romantic thing, and this is an older anime, but it really comes across extremely cheesy, and it doesn't do it for me. Not that I think they wouldn't be a fine couple or whatever. It's not like they don't have chemistry or anything. He's just, I don't know, he's just fucking really, really cheesy when they do that stuff, but it's whatever, it's fine, I can get over it, but yeah, he ends up talking to her, and she knows it's him on some weird fucking I know your movements bullshit. And he ends up telling her not to cremate my body, and then he leaves Kuwabara. Funny scene when Kuwabara comes back, and she slaps him. Let's see, what else happened? Yeah, and then she goes to the house, and the mom is like, I was gonna, cremate him or whatever, but then she realizes he has a pulse. So now he's like in a coma type state, slow heartbeat or whatever. I mean, I don't know the specifics of a coma, but I would assume this is similar to being in a coma. But yeah, he's alive, so they're not going to kill him, and they know he's alive, so there's no convincing anymore. They're just going to keep the body there, so that's good. But yeah, overall story progression, I mean, he's got the egg. It started feeding on his good/bad energy, so that's good. Possessing Kuwabara's body, that was funny, and, it was a funny episode. It had good comedy, and a little too cheesy in some areas, but I thought it was an okay episode. I'm going to give it like a 7 out of 10. It was solid, but nothing like that blew my mind. But yeah, mostly the comedy really helps this episode out. So anyways, thanks for watching this video. Tell me what you guys think of this episode, or these episodes, in the comments below. And yeah, we'll see this thing through. I'm looking at probably like 60 videos, but yeah. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.